Oh, this is a long time coming. All right, here we go. So our loyal viewers, you may notice that for quite a while now, actually 2 years or even longer, we haven't really posted with the cadence and the frequency and the deep dive research that we used to do in years past. But I will say there is a reason for this. Something we've been working on for quite some time. And before I talk about kind of the behind the scenes and exactly what we were thinking, I'm just going to go ahead and show you this.
This database is one of the most groundbreaking archives dedicated to the study of military history and has the potential to give so much dimension and a sharper definition to our own experience with the American Civil War.
For years now, you have been able to follow your family tree and experience the excitement of discovering the famous events that shaped our country. Discovering that one ancestor came to the New World on the Mayflower, finding the one that fought to create this new nation, or learning that your family fought in the most costly American war to preserve this country and end slavery. However, while we have websites dedicated to telling you who, finding the details of how was much tougher to discover, until now. The Research Arsenal has forever changed that, a site dedicated to telling the rest of the story in an easy-to-use way that the general public can navigate. The American Civil War was fought by more than 2 million soldiers and affected almost every American, north and south. It was a time of technological advancement, medical discoveries, and logistical wonders. What weapon did your ancestor carry into battle? What did he eat? How many shoes did he wear out during the war? The Research Arsenal has now made it easier than ever to search clothing issues, mourning reports, and weapons issued to each federal regiment. Search more than 30,000 digitized letters that have been transcribed and are keyword searchable, making it great for topical researchers, authors, and hobby historians. Research the design requirements of all the uniform, gear, and equipment that was contracted out during the war, and see them in use with more than 10,000 images that are digitally linked with every item captured in the image. Experience Civil War research like you never have before.
The Research Arsenal provides unlimited access to the industry that powered the Union, the technology of the era, as well as provides visual examples of the sheer monetary cost of our Civil War. With literally thousands of images of soldiers, sailors, rail yards overflowing with supplies, horses, tents, artillery, and even support vehicles, this database has the potential to transform the American Civil War that we know as a Shakespearean tragedy into an actual military conflict that involved millions of people, cost millions of dollars, and completely restructure the way that the nation approached the contracting and production of war materials.
The careful annotation of thousands of images will help to exhibit more clearly the most tangible damages that came as a result of the war. The actual shell-damaged buildings, ravaged communities, and bloated corpses rather than alluding to the more overarching thematic images in our own minds. The Research Arsenal is an invaluable resource for students, museum professionals, writers, filmmakers, colleges, and other institutions as the go-to archive that uses the details to make history come to life. Other websites help you discover who. Let the Research Arsenal tell you how.
So, that's what we've been working on. For the past 5 years, it's been a labor of love. We have poured hundreds of thousands of dollars into this database. I've learned more about database programming and and programming in general than I ever wanted to know, because there was no program out there that did what we wanted to do. And now the time has come. We have reached the limit of our ability to transcribe, to pay people to program this database, and we feel it's ready to launch to the public, and we want you guys to know about it. We want our community to be the first to know about it. And those of you who are close to our channel, who really follow us and been able to talk to me in person, I mean, you guys know that this channel is nothing more than our own progression through research and our own progression through diving into primary records and going from completely ignorant. I mean, how you guys watch some of our earlier videos, they are so cringeworthy. Like, I want to delete them, but there's kind of something wrong about deleting old videos, that you're ashamed of. But man, watch some of our early videos. I mean, the first 10 we did are all horrible. But I mean, those of you who know our journey, our videos are nothing more than my own ignorance, our own ignorance in doing the research and knowing that if I had the same questions, I guarantee you there were many, many more people that had the same questions. I had a lot of people ask me over the years, I've had a lot of people ask me, why don't I do a Patreon? Why don't I do like the YouTube subscription option? Why don't I, gain financial support from that to be able to provide you guys more videos? And for a variety of reasons, really what it boiled down into is that like Patreon, I'll kind of throw all those examples into like the Patreon, model. I honestly would feel bad, asking for your guys' support through Patreon because I didn't feel like I was giving you really anything in return other than we may do a video, here and there, and and I couldn't give you any tangible, anything really useful. And because that here personally, like we just didn't feel right creating a Patreon. And so what we did is we sat out, like I said, 5 years ago, we sat out to create a database that we would be able to offer access to the entire living history community. And of course, beyond that, for people every time you go on these forums and people say, look at the quarterly ordnance returns, and you look for them and they're nowhere on the internet. And people say, well, go look at fold 3, and you try to search units on fold 3 and you realize how hard it is because you can't filter by specific units, and someone says, well, go ahead and in this regimental history, they offer forms and forage reports that show they had certain, certain equipment. And you look for those, and those are never anywhere to be found except in some random local museum that they're only open on Wednesday and Thursday from like 1 a.m. or 1 p.m. to like 4 p.m. and you can't get there in time to do the research. And so really our whole goal of doing this, guys, is to provide primary documentation, to provide access to primary records to the hobby historian. And that's how I see myself, guys. In this journey, I have found that diving into primary records gives you an insight that reading books, whether from a secondary or tertiary source, that you just don't get otherwise. And so really what we ask you guys is those of you who would have supported us on Patreon, we ask you to go ahead and go to researcharsenal.com and subscribe. And those of you who don't want to subscribe financially, that's fine. We offer a free subscription plan. You can get in there, see what we have, because we all know that if you have a free offer, but you still have to put your credit card information in, they're going to charge you and then you have to remember to cancel. We don't even do that to you guys. You can create a free account, search every document that we have. If we have what you want, then you can upgrade your subscription. If we don't have what you want, then you can just leave it be. You don't have to worry about it. But this is something that we've been working on. It's a labor of love that we've done, and we ask you guys to give us a chance and support us, because not only does your subscription help pay the ridiculous amount of money we've already just invested in creating this. Our goal is to digitize records that have not been digitized, whether it's Fold 3 or Ancestry, or honestly, I pick on those, but a variety of other databases that are primarily focused on genealogy. They really care about documents with names on them. Our goal is to focus on the documents that don't have names on them, that give such a richer history into the material culture of the war, from the field reports of like the morning reports that don't have any names, but they just have check marks, they just have numbers, to the ledgers, to the special orders and the general orders books that each regiment took. Our goal is to digitize, transcribe, and offer to you guys the Record 94 of the National Archives, that are the regimental books there's so much that has not been digitized yet. And beyond that, because there's a lot of nonprofits that are starting to digitize what's in the National Archives, we have had personal collections, private collections come to us when they see what we're doing, and they literally just mail us their entire collection. And we help preserve them, we digitize them, we transcribe them, we send them back to the original owner, and then we put them up for you guys to access, documents that no one has seen, that haven't seen the light of day, that researchers even, we've had the people who have beta tested this database, they've said that there are records here that that they have never seen before, and they are a quote-unquote expert in that regiment. There are maps and drawings that have never seen the light of day. So stuff like this, we want to give you, before we even ask for support, we wanted to give you a product that you could get behind, that gives you value, and we believe the Research Arsenal is it. And so we strongly suggest, guys, go to researcharsenal.com, see what we have, subscribe to that database, and your support again, and let's just go to the next archive and the next archive and the next archive to basically build just a huge database that focuses not on the people. Let Ancestry in Full 3 tell you, all the people, and let them tell you who fought in the Civil War. We want the Research Arsenal. We have the Research Arsenal that focuses on that material culture side of the war, the logistical wonders, to give that richer history and that deeper picture into what the war really costed. And so with that, guys, I just wanted to make an announcement that we have now made the Research Arsenal public. The 11th Ohio, internally, we've kind of used it as our own research database for quite some time now, a few years now. But now we want you guys to have access to it, to gain access to all the National Archives, quarterly ordnance returns, to 30,000 letters transcribed. Most of them are from Spared and Shared with Griff. He was so gracious to let us in on this project, to allow us to basically copy the work he's done, to back it up in case something happens to his pages. We don't have all of his letters yet, but we have 30,000 of his letters and about 1,000 other letters from other collections as well, but obviously the vast majority is from Spared and Shared. And the images, we have about 10,000 Library of Congress images that we're still working on the other ones. They keep uploading ones that we thought we had done, but not so much. But we about 10,000 of the classic Library of Congress images that are keyword searchable with everything in the image. If you want to see images that have a Philadelphia corrugated canteen, you can keyword search that, and boom, they're all there. They're easy. They're there. But like I said, guys, we're to a point we need help. There is so much more we want to add to this database that we need financial support to do so. Like I said, paying these programmers has been extremely expensive, and we want you guys' support to allow us to be able to transcribe more, to digitize more, and honestly, to be able to relate and link images, letters, and documents together in a way that no other database has. So with that, guys, appreciate your support. We ask that you go and subscribe to the researcharsenal.com. And of course, until we see you in the field next time, ride hard. If you're like me, a Civil War enthusiast or hobby historian, you get started, reading books, loving the American Civil War, and then there's a transition period that you start kind of diving into primary records. And I know for me, searching for genealogy or just being a Civil War enthusiast, I wanted to see and know exactly what weapons my ancestor was issued, or exactly what my favorite regiment was issued, or the gear, the equipment, whatever. And you look and you're trying to find the quarterly ordnance returns that was kept from the federal side of the war. They kept really good records, but in doing so, especially if your experience is similar to mine, it was very difficult, if not impossible, to find all the ordnance returns. I would search Civil War ordnance returns and find out, go to a blog or a forum or a page that has 1 or 2 copies of it, but never something I could easily search and filter and go for. Whether it's the databases, the famous databases that are online that you can search by name. It was very difficult, and so I asked one of my friends, like, where are these? Where can you find these? And of course, they're at the National Archives. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna get my own, just to do my own research, and go on the National Archives website, find the microfilm, and lo and behold, there's 8 rolls of ordnance returns at $100 a pop. Yeah, no thanks, right? And I didn't know what to do. And it was at that moment I realized there's a need for, an easy, searchable, filterable way to have access to all the federal quarterly ordnance returns from every major active regiment during the war. So as a founder of the Research Arsenal, my passion is to bring primary research, primary records to the quote hobby historian. Basically, I want to share my passion for research, and I'm sure many of you have been in the same position I am. You know, you want information, you want easy access, you're willing to do the work, but you don't know where to go, or honestly, you don't have, who has the time, the effort, or the money to go to the National Archives, to go to state archives, the local museums. You'll spend so much in fuel just to get there. What we have developed is we have uploaded every one of the quarterly ordnance returns. I think there's 3,000 or 4,000 pages of this that you can easily search and filter by unit, by regiment number, by branch, and more importantly, by quarter and year. And this gives you the access to actually allow you to search not just a regiment period, but a regiment before or right after a specific campaign. Or if you want to look at the Western Theater, if you want to search an entire corps and see what they were issued before or after a campaign, you can. The Research Arsenal allows you to easily, in seconds, search your favorite regiment, favorite year, to find exactly what you're looking for. So please join our community, the community of the Research Arsenal. It gives you access to all the quarterly ordnance returns found in microfilm from the National Archives in an easily searchable format. And more importantly, what this does, by joining our community, it allows us to then go out to other local museums, to state archives, and obviously to the National Archives, to scan, to copy, to digitize, and to give you more access to what honestly only professional historians or those with time and money can, to go to those. Not all of us can. So what this allows you to do is join a community that allows us to digitize everything, upload, tag everything, and you can have access to all the ordnance returns you want to. So go ahead and begin your adventure into researching primary records. Subscribe below. And if you're not, if you're kind of leery about subscribing right away and joining our community to allow us to actually digitize more, that's fine. I understand it. What if we don't have exactly what you're looking for? I get it. You can go ahead, click the link below, and we will actually allow you to create an account, search what we have in our database, all for free. And no, we don't even ask you for your credit card. You can create an account, search. If we don't have what you want, don't worry about it. Come back at a later time. Maybe we'll have what you're looking for. Don't let this hold you back. Please join one of the largest, fastest growing communities in Civil War research out there right now, the Research Arsenal. Let Ancestry tell you who fought in the Civil War. Let the Research Arsenal tell you how in a deeper story and with what gear.